So, welcome everybody to this happy hour. This is the first time we do such a happy hour, so our apologies first if something goes wrong. So, it's my pleasure to be here. I'm Gregorio Robles. I'm the general chair of OpenSym this year. I'm a professor in a Spanish university in Madrid, and I've done this with the help with Amit Arjun, who is from our Indian publicity chair there, and then he's for the Asian outreach region. We will have today a nice plan. We have two commenters, Björn Lundl from the University of Hefte and Rishamjit Kaur from she's senior scientist at CCU in India. So we have a nice program today. We will start with one first thing, which is a quick question to you, which is something that you should answer in the chat. Amit is going to show you the slide with the question next. And it's basically, where do you come from and what time is it there? So please do that in the chat. It should be on this side. You'll see, and if you just say hi, for instance, hi, I'm Gregorio and I'm from Spain. Here it's 10:30 in the morning. So the chat is yours. I see people are typing. Let's see how international we are. I will type myself here. Spain. So, good morning. Well, good afternoon, Sudarshan. It's 2 p.m. there in India where you are. Good morning. Well, good afternoon, Nero. I say good morning because here we are in good morning, Needy, as well, 2 p.m. So I see we have lots of attendance from India. No, Rishamjit, hi to India. Poonan from India as well. So thanks for joining. We have somebody joining from France. Fantastic. So I see we have some Europeans and some Indians right now. Björn says it's snowing. Yeah, that's the usual weather in Sweden. Maybe for April it's a little bit late for snow. I guess in India you will have a warmer weather. Here we know. And then Suleiman is locked down in Belgium. Good, Suleiman. Nice to hear you again. And there is Jesus Moreno. I think he comes from Seville. I don't know. He's part of my research group. So I'm glad that you are here as well. So as I was saying, thanks everybody for joining. We will try to have a little bit of everything, a little bit of science, a little bit of polls, a little bit of knowing each other, and of course a lot of fun. So while the last ones are typing where they're from, I would like to introduce the first paper, which we will have comments on. So the way this works is the authors of the paper have created a YouTube video. So here the title of the paper is Who Writes Wikipedia? An Investigation from the Perspective of Ortega. And by Anamika Chakba and Professor Iyengar from the Indian Institute of Technology at Ropar. And Amit will just introduce the video. It's a short video of the paper. And then after the video, you will hear the comments by Björn and Rishamjit about the paper, what they liked the most, and why we should have a look at the paper. Also, this paper was presented at OpenSym in 2020. So here the video is playing. So all yours. So, fantastic summary of one paper in less than 90 seconds. So, now let's go to the commenters. This paper I will start with Björn, and then I will give the voice to Rushamjit. So, Björn, what's your opinion on the paper?
Yeah, I think this is really nice work in trying to look into who are those that actually contribute to Wikipedia, and there are of course the different ideas about the masses. I mean, if you compare this to software development, it's commonly known that very few people contributes a lot, whereas the big masses contributes less. And we have similar scenarios here in Wikipedia. And the investigation here, I think, is a very interesting sort of investigation of looking at the role of the masses. I mean, even though there are a few that contributes a lot, it is very clear that the masses, sort of contributions from the masses is very important as well. And the paper presents a lot of detailed statistics on who are doing the edits and so on. And I think that's a really nice piece of work. And I think that is a good example to get inspiration for, if you're thinking of contributing to OpenSym, this is a really interesting paper to have a look at, to get an idea about what it could be to do a study for OpenSym.
Yeah. So thanks, Björn. The mic is yours.
Hi. Yeah. So, yeah, this paper is very interesting. Generally, when we talk about like open collaboration and open science, there are so many aspects, there are legal aspects, there are technological aspects, but I think it's the human behavior and the social aspects which generally makes it more interesting. And here we look how masses, they contribute contribute towards the new ideas, how they are important. So this helps in probably, taking some policy level decision making as well, that how the resources should be allocated, who should be incentivized based on what kind of contribution they are making. Like, even if the masses, they are not making major contributions in the sense of maybe the insertion of the, I don't know, they may write one sentence, not like tens of paragraphs, but if they're bringing in new ideas, they need to be properly incentivized there as well. So I really like this paper. Just one thought which I had, that like, I was just wondering, what if like, it's a very specialized scientific topic, like a string theory. Does the masses contribute more in that case, or is it like maybe a very specialized people, they will contribute more? So it's a very interesting paper. And I see that like there could be like it could sort of lead the way into the more interesting questions into the future as well. Thank you.
So thanks, Rushamjit. So everybody now knows who writes Wikipedia. You've got it. I mean, if you Google for it, the proceedings of OpenSym are open access, so you can get the whole view of the paper there if you Google for it. So next we have a small poll. So Amit will send it. So the question is, when was the first time you heard about OpenSym? And we should see some options.
Yeah, I'm adding some options. But again, okay, I'll use my own decision to add the options. You'll see the poll on the top right. Give me
yeah, what? So
just a second.
Just a second. As I was telling you, we are newbies with this, and it's the first time that we go live. So we have now. You will see now somewhere popping up the poll. We tried it yesterday. I think Amit is now introducing the options for answering, and we hope to have it now. Now it is. I see. Okay, let's. So you should see the
yeah, I'm waiting for everyone to answer, and then I'll...
Okay, yep. So please answer. You have there several options. There are some old people here in the room like me who know it for longer. and Björn, yeah. But we know this is a really this is more a young community. So I guess if I my option, I say probably is your option is 2020. Well, that's good enough. And I hope to have some people from 2021. That would be a good news, because they've come here to see what is going on and what OpenSym is and what the community is. So please vote. We'll give you still 15 seconds. So the clock is going down, and then in now 10 seconds we will see the results. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we will get the results displayed. So yeah, so nice. Here we see lots of new people joining today. And it's even the vast majority of you are pretty young here in the OpenSym community. There are some old guys that know OpenSym for longer. So that's good. So for all of those of you who said 2021, welcome to OpenSym. Let's see another paper and let's comment the next paper. So Amit, if you can put the slide, this is the next paper we are going to talk about. It's developing a framework to assess socio-economic value of open data in India. And the authors are Sharon Boteau, Preeti Rao, Anshunam Mehta, and Vijayraja Kadivel. I'm sorry for the pronunciation. They're from the Kriya University of India, and Amit will be so nice and put the small video on the paper for all of you to see. So let's go, Amit. Here is the video. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Sharon. I'm from Lead. Hi, my name is Sharon. I'm from Lead at Kriya University. Just a brief summary of our efforts in developing a framework to assess socioeconomic value of open data in India. Just to highlight our organization, we create knowledge for impact with a vision to solve complex challenges and enhance socioeconomic prosperity. One of the key features of open data and the impact, it is a very wide range and broad base. It involves improving government, creating economic opportunities and innovation, solving public problems, and empower citizens. When you want to evaluate open data, we take the lens of a social planner, and there's a few salient features that we think are quite important to take account. One is the real value of data is not the data itself, but what can be achieved by using it. Transformation can only happen if the data we gather can inform and inspire and enable those in a position to make a difference. Any understanding projection of the socioeconomic impact of open data needs to take into account the users and usage, as well as the environment in which they interact. Many studies have documented the potential spur of economic innovation and social transformation, as well as usher in forms of political and government accountability. However, with all this enthusiasm, there is very little that we know actually about how open data works and what form of impact it is really having. For this, we have started to create an initial framework for determining the value of open data. It starts by understanding what is the data environment, starting by government data and other forms of open data coming from the government, coming from the private sector, such as private business operation data, private mapping data, social media, and data coming from research organizations that remain open to the public, that are a vast resource that are underutilized. This data can go in two ways. It can go directly to the ultimate users, or it can be developed by intermediaries through a few mechanisms by which they modify the data and they reuse it in form of app-based solutions. They use it for policies, infographics to inform, or even in forms of data that's used for other research. And that data can be used targeted to two streams, downstreams signals and upstream signals,
we've seen
for which downstream signals are more like decision-making progress, efficient utilization of resources,
and now we have we give voice
accountability and transparency, and upstream signals are more like social mobility, data-driven startups, improving policy making, etc.
Thank you.
Which those taken down
like open
together,
data, it's very important, and I find it
helps
quite
us to achieve
challenging
several forms of
that
impact,
how to,
such as
like, to
economic
access the
impact, better
socio-economic
democratic
value of it.
participation,
So
environmental
maybe
benefits,
I'll
greater
take this
social
chance
cohesion,
to talk
improved
about
decision making, etc.
recently Indian
So
government,
thank you
like
very
since we are
much.
talking about India, Indian government, like the norms which were related to the acquisition and generation of the spatial data, they have made it quite liberal from this year onwards as well. And it is like it is being considered as a very big step for the public sector startup companies. Like it will give way, like it will help in boosting innovation and whatnot. So I think it will be a very good opportunity, to see sort of this change being unfolding in front of our eyes, and see how it brings in more, like how it creates value, how it creates economic and social value out of it. So it's like thinking about developing the framework to access this thing. I think this can be very useful in such kind of cases. And the another aspect of open data which I generally find to be very interesting is like repurposing of the data for which like a task for which the data was created, you use it for a completely different task that in itself takes a life of its own, and it's quite challenging. So I mean, if that could also be included in socio-economic, I mean, if that also I think that also adds value to it. Yeah, this is where I'll end. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Vishamjit. Nice comment. Björn, your turn.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Smith, you mentioned there the evolution, because this paper was accepted for the 2019, as Gregorio said, version of the conference. And in the paper, they talk about that this is an initial part of a research study. So things will go on, and things are changing in this area about what is and what is not sort of provided from the public sector in different countries in the world. And I think this paper recognizes this sort of myriad of different stakeholders. I mean, the framework is the main sort of contribution of the paper, where they try to elaborate the different roles and different factors that comes to play when it comes to demand and supply side of open data. Who are the stakeholders? What are the incentives, etc. And in the paper, there are quotes to general background from various large consultancy firms that gives a lot of numbers on claims, what are the value, etc. And I think it's very interesting to think about issues. On the one hand, you have open data and all the benefits that can come from that, but also look at other aspects like privacy aspects, etc. And the land data you mentioned is one area where I think that many countries have taken actions. I mean, we have seen that as a comparison for Sweden as well. I mean, the land data is an area where quite a lot of open data has been provided, whereas in other areas, not so much has happened. So there are inhibitors, and I have just one reflection. I mean, in the paper, it seems to convey that India is behind, but I'm not so sure about that, given that there is a lot of resistance, at least in Sweden, about privacy concern, about releasing data, etc. So one thing is what you can do, another thing is what you should do, etc. So there are so many factors that needs to be taken into consideration. But when it comes to map data, etc., and so on, I think that's a nice example, and scientific data for various scientific measurements, etc., climate data and things like that. It's very clear. So I think the paper is good in the sense of trying to elaborate the different stakeholders that are involved and trying to understand that in various ways. Yeah.
So well said, Björn. Thank you. So yeah, this is one of the type of papers that we have in OpenSym. So in the next slides, I would like to introduce a little bit very briefly what OpenSym is. So as you see, it's the premier conference on open collaboration research and practice. So we do open collaboration, and that includes open source, open science, open education, wikis, Wikipedia, related social media, and IT-driven innovation. So this year, OpenSym will be a hybrid conference, and that's a big opportunity for everybody because it will be on-site in Madrid, but online at the same time. So I think that's a very big opportunity for the OpenSym community to grow and to attract new ideas and new talent. So, and how can you contribute? So in the next slide, we show different types of contributions. So there are regular research papers. What we have shown now are videos from the regular research papers from the past. If you want to submit, this is early June for the abstract and mid-June for the complete submission. There are two types of regular submissions: short papers up to 5 pages. You will see the template on the OpenSym webpage, or long papers which can have up to 10 pages. These regular papers are peer-reviewed, and if accepted, they are published by the ACM. So they are the official proceedings. And the selection of the best papers are invited to a special issue for a journal. Then we have experience reports, which for which the deadline is August the 8th. And this experience reports will give you the possibility to have a short talk at the conference. For an experience report, you have to submit a 2-page extended abstract, and they will be published in a companion volume, not in the main proceedings, which is only for peer-reviewed research. For the experience reports, as you see, is August the 8th. The conference is in mid-September, from the 15th to the 17th, so 1 month ahead. Then we will have during the conference open space track, so everybody who's at the conference will have unconference talks and birds of feathers, and then everybody who comes with a talk, then they can propose it online and physically, and then they can have a special room for that. So that's the last minute ideas where you have a nice idea on open data and want to discuss with others, with your peers and so on. Then this will be the open space track. And for those who are pursuing a PhD, we have the doctoral consortium. They can send up to 5 pages until mid-July, and this, and then we will have a doctoral consortium with some renowned professors who will mentor the PhD students who have submitted something, and tell them about the PhD topic and about the way to proceed and so on. I think this is as well a nice opportunity if you are a PhD student and want to gather feedback. So this are put together in the companion volume. So these are the type of contributions that you can submit. Of course, you can be just a participant and go to listen. For the conference, if we go for the registration, one of the things that we want to do is we as open as possible. So online participants, the fee is quite inexpensive, of 25 euros, and we have free waivers. There's an R missing there so it's free waivers up on request. You will see on the website when we open the registration that you can ask for participating for free, and then you will have to ask for it and submit a letter why you would like to attend the conference and so on. So we want to expand the OpenSym community. This is not a European or an American conference. This is now a worldwide conference, and now that we are going hybrid, it's a good opportunity for many of you. I will think about Asia, Africa, South America to join this forum. This is online participants. If you get if you are an author, the registration is around €100. No, the difference is because of publishing in the ACM proceedings. So there's a publication cost by ACM, which we cannot circumvent, and then we know that this cost is then transferred to the author. So any author who gets a regular paper, was one of the contributions that we can have. The one that gets the ACM proceedings, the registration is around €100. And then there is the physical participation. If you want to come to Madrid, you're very welcome. And this physical participation, early bird, it's €350. It includes attending to the conference in a nice venue. The venue is really nice in the city center. If you know Madrid, it's very close to the museums, to the Royal Palace, and I mean we will have to have a very good program to compete against all these amenities that we will have around. And of course, the registration includes food, social event, and all the things that you have in on-site. So because of the situation, you can change among the 3 registration types until August 28, because we know that now with coronavirus, it's not easy to program yourself in the future. So as you see, we want to have your contributions. You have seen we know open source, open data, open science, open education, Wikipedia, and you can participate online for very low registration fees, or even ask for a free waiver, or you can come to Madrid and participate on site. So we would be very happy to have you in OpenSym this year. So just note the calls and the deadlines, please. And said this, I mean, if you have any questions, you have the chat. I will be very happy to answer the questions. And in the meantime, we go on with a happy hour, and Amit has another poll ready for you, which has following question: which one is your favorite browser? We go back to the browser wars from early this millennium. So sometime in the next minute, you will see some options will arise in the lower corner there, and you can select then your favorite web browser, and then we can see. So there it is: Firefox, Chrome, Safari, Internet Explorer, Opera. You didn't put, maybe we have geeky people who use other, I don't know, links and things like that. Let's see. Is there somebody who is using links still? So please fill the form. So Suleiman in the chat, Brave. Björn uses Brave. He's a tough guy and he has to use Brave. Couldn't be different. So Suleiman asks us if we are collaborating with some hotels. That's for those who are coming on site, and we will provide a list of nice accommodation, from 5-star hotels to family-owned hostels, which are very cheap for European standards, and Tor browser is as well a good option. Yeah, Microsoft Edge. I guess that's Internet Explorer. I guess that's we should put the no. Okay, we see the results. So I see my Chrome is the most preferred browser, then Firefox, and then Safari. Nobody uses Internet Explorer or Opera here. That's interesting. So Chrome, I guess that includes Chromium. So we are on the open side. Safari is based on work by KDE from KHTML 10 years ago. So we can say it has its roots goes towards open source as well. Okay, so let's move to the next paper. The next paper is KeyWiki, a need for Q&A and Wiki to coexist. This is by Simran Setia and Professor Inyengar and Amit, who's here with the technology, and they come from the Indian Institute of Technology at Roper. So Amit, if you can play the video, then we will see what the paper is about. Thanks a lot. And here it is. Okay, it had an abrupt ending for me, so I had to wake up. So I hope you go now for the commenters. So now Bjorn, your turn.
Okay. Thank you, Gregorio. Yes, I mean, this is also a paper that was presented in last year's OpenSym. And it's about the Q&A forum on the one hand, and also the wiki side of things. So it's sort of how these two together may be used in a good way. And I think it's an interesting study, and the study is done as part of a mock course. And I would have liked to know more about that, because I mean, the result in the study, they talk about that there is a limitation in terms of the fact that only 12 weeks were used for the wiki. I mean, wikis that are used over years can tend to become sort of messy and difficult to maintain in a nice way. So maybe it would be interesting to see how this would work if it would have been used over longer time periods and outside the context of a mock course, I would say. But otherwise, I mean, it's a detailed study, and it's a lot about the use of it, etc. I would have liked to know more about the underlying software solutions, etc. But otherwise, nice piece of work.
Thank you, Bjorn. Rishamjit, your turn.
Yes, I think the video in itself was very interesting, very, very lively, as even you commented that nice way of presenting without having to say a word. Yes, the methodological details would have been nicer, but I think the novel, the whole idea and the approach in itself is quite novel, like combining two different kind of portals and the generating knowledge out of it. That idea I find to be very interesting, and I would also like to see it being implemented over the longer period of time and over at the larger scale. Like MOOC, it's also a very specialized kind of a topic. Like the courses, it's very specific, whereas in Wikipedia there are n number of topics on every possible scientific field which is out there. So it will be interesting to see that how this kind of study would scale up, could be generalized to this thing. But it's a very nice read, I would say. I would recommend everyone to read it.
So thanks, Rishamjit. Nice comments from our commenters. So we have still one poll to have some activity on your side, and this is more an informal question. Please answer in the chat, which should be on that part. So what city or what country would you like to visit next, and why? So this is important now in Corona times. So for instance, I have a visit pending to Höfde in Sweden. So I want to visit Björn next. So I promised him that I would go, and that pending. I've only been once to India. I should think about going again to India. So it was Hyderabad. So what no? Where would you like to go? Just type and tell us where and why you would like to go. There's so many things in the world to see. We have been confined in the last month or last year even, and I think we want to go out a little bit. So here, India. Okay, nice. Yeah, Madrid for OpenSym. Nice answer. That's good. Paris. Hamid wants to go to Paris. That's a beautiful city. We had OpenSym in Paris in 2018, by the way. So Suleiman wants to visit his village in Gambia. Okay. The local bread. That's good. Egypt. Nice, no? Okay, yeah. That's with the confinement, we in the lockdown, we couldn't see our family. Yeah. Bristol. Okay. Somebody wants to go to MIT and Harvard. Who doesn't want to go there and be there? No, at least for some time. It's like going to the roller coasters of academics. When you go there, there's so much going on. Okay, so thank you. There's some people still writing. So while you are writing, Iceland, you have to tell me, Iceland, I haven't never been there. It has to be beautiful. Maybe somebody should organize a conference there, and then we get the chance to visit Iceland. New Zealand, home of the Lord of the Rings. That's a nice answer. So yeah, so I hope all these wishes will slowly come true. And yeah, and there are hobbits there in New Zealand. So, and if Amit turns to the next slide. So this was OpenSym Happy Hour. Thanks to Björn and Rishamjit for being the commenters. Very well done. Thanks Amit for doing the logistics. I think this is the first time we have done it, but it has gone quite well. We have still things to improve. I've written here a list. We are academics. I never thought I would end up presenting a happy hour like this over the internet. I hope you enjoyed it, and I leave you with some music, which is again Creative Commons. It's from Siddhartha Courses, and the song is called Tada. So please relax. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a happy hour. I wish you the best for the rest of the day and for the weekend. So thanks everybody.
Thank you so much for the invitation, Amit and Good. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rishamjit. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, same here.